The End Dragon. It's the final boss you can fight inside of Minecraft. Welcome to my Minecraft guide, where today we're beating Minecraft. And the last time we were in here, I went ahead and did not finish that. Now it's finished and we can go to the end. The last episode I went through, worked on getting enchantments for the perfect gear. Check that out before you watch this episode. There are a couple ways you can beat the End Dragon. For me, I'm using potions of strength and potions of regeneration, but you can use beds if you want to. With that, I also have fully enchanted diamond armor, fully enchanted diamond gear, the biggest enchantments being sharpness 5 on my sword, power 5 on my bow, my spawn point set here, along with just backup stuff in my chest, and a bucket of water. With that stuff in mind, let's go to the end. Ah, yes, the end. So when you first get to the end, what I recommend is build yourself a little safety net, because there will be moments where you accidentally look at Enderman. It happens, there's no avoiding it. And with this, if you accidentally look at Enderman, you can get under and they can't attack you. Now you also want to go ahead and start making your way up the end pillars. This way you can take out the end crystals, which is very simple. I also recommend using a bucket of water for this. If you want to pile up here with blocks, you can, but I personally prefer a water bucket. Keeping the water bucket placed, build a very small barrier between you and the end crystal and take it out with some form of projectile. And from the first pillar that you're up on, take out the end crystals that you can with projectiles. Once all the ones that are not covered in iron bars are taken out, you can jump into the water that's down below. You can climb to the top after angering an enderman, and then just kill the enderman or hit him with your sword and take out these end crystals. Water buckets are also really good for warding off the enderman that you accidentally anger. Once the end crystals are destroyed, be careful of the end dragon launching its breath at you. You can collect it inside of bottles if you want. I'm not going to because I'm never going to use it. But now you can go and start shooting the end dragon with your bows and arrows until it reaches the pedestal. And once it gets down to the pedestal, hit yourself with regen and hit yourself with a strength potion and go and hit the end dragon. And if you ever get flung back, you have feather falling on your boots, or you should, and you'll be fine until you get to the pedestal again. It also helps if you actually hit the end dragon with the arrows. I've missed this thing so many times. Make sure you always keep your hunger up as well. You don't want to die due to losing your health when you could have just eaten a piece of steak to regen your health. If you have thorns on your armor, the dragon will hit you and also get damaged. And after roughly 10 minutes of repeating this process, you will have beaten the end dragon. And the experience gained from the end dragon will be used to repair all your tools if they have mending on them, along with also gain 65 levels. And you also get the dragon egg, which you can grab one of the torches off the pedestal if you actually grab the torch. Okay, let's do this. There we go. And with that torch, after you punch the end dragon egg, it teleports somewhere randomly and not being chased by an enderman. Once you find the end dragon egg, go 2 blocks underneath, place a torch, and then destroy it. And now you get the end dragon egg because it acts like sand in any other gravity block. You can also now go back to the overworld to wherever your spawn point is, in this case the stronghold, and protect that dragon egg. We'll keep that in the chest here. The other cool thing about defeating the dragon is you get the end gateway to open, which I recommend build a platform around this so that way you don't accidentally fall off when you come back through here. And you can enter this one of 2 ways. One is using an ender pearl. The second way, use a trapdoor and just crawl your way in, and you'll be taken to the end islands. And you have another gateway that you can enter the same way. And on the end island, you'll find a lot of endermen. So this is a really good place to set up an enderman experience farm or enderman ender pearl farm. But you also find chorus fruit, which when you eat chorus fruit, you get teleported, I think it's 7 blocks away, but you get teleported a small distance. It's not really worth much, honestly. You can smelt the chorus fruit to get popped chorus fruit, which then can be crafted into the purple blocks, which can be stone cut into its variants or crafted into its variants. Or you craft a end rod with a single pop chorus fruit and a blaze rod. When exploring the end islands, it's always good to have blocks on you so you can make your basic enderman farms. So you can collect ender pearls. Blocks are also really good for building over to other islands. You can also have your potions of strength and regen on you. They're not necessary. Definitely have chests, definitely have wood, have a crafting table, another trapdoor in case you find another gateway, and torches never hurt, and always a water bucket. And the biggest thing you're looking for in here are end cities with end ships. In which case, turn your render distance all the way up, hit apply, hit done. Due to how low maintenance the end is, it is very easy to generate this even on low end computers without any issue. But once you find an end city, I do recommend turn the distance all the way back down so that way you don't lag out and just make your way over there. One other thing to mention about the chorus fruit too is to get the chorus flower, you just gotta hit it with a bow, which will drop the chorus flower, allowing you to plant these when you go back to your overworld. So you can actively farm purple blocks for traversing the end islands. I always always recommend, if it's a smaller distance, it's very easy to just bridge over to where you need to go, especially if you don't look at any endermen in the eye. You don't need to worry about falling. And for larger distances like this, you can bridge over, but if you can ender pearl there, it makes it a little easier, although I feel like that's pushing my luck a little bit trying to make it there. And on top of that, if you hit the edge of a end island, you're gonna fall into the void, so be very careful. There's absolutely nothing wrong with bridging, especially since the only hostile mobs you have to worry about are endermen. As long as you keep looking down, they're not going to attack you. Sorry, let's see if I can hit this with the ender pearl. And I recommend aim for the top of like the chorus fruit too. It ensures that you get high enough. And oh my gosh, that was so close to missing. When exploring end cities, you want to look for shulkers, all the while completing very basic parkour. And once you find a room full of shulkers, or in this case, I recommend getting hit with the shulker bullets, whatever you want to call these. But be careful because they can deal a lot of damage, especially if you don't have good armor. I'm lucky enough, my armor is great. Go through, hit shulkers. When they're closed, they cannot take damage from projectiles, but when they're open, they can. So right here, the arrows bounce off, but when I do this, the arrows hit it. And when you kill shulkers, you get the shulker shell, which can be combined with chests inside the crafting table to get shulker boxes, which can be dyed with all the different dyes if you want to do that. And I mean, if you really wanted to here, you could do the parkour to get back up, but I recommend doing the same thing we did with the end towers and just use a water bucket. As for loot, you'll find a lot of iron, gold, and beetroot seeds, as well as some armor, which I don't really need, but I'll take it to disenchant. It's also nice to get more chests. I mean, they never hurt. And once you reach the top, you can set your render distance all the way up, and it gives you a good view of everything. And by everything, I mean there is no more cities in this area, so let's start heading that way. And of course, to get down from here, you can either throw an ender pearl or use the water bucket. I went with the ender pearl. Let's go ahead and be ready for this. There we go. And while exploring, look for end cities that have the ships on them. That is really important. You'll also be able to find other end gateways, so if you do lose your way back to the one that you came from, just use another one of these. And one of the best things you can loot is the ender chest. As long as you have a silk touch pickaxe, you can go ahead and put whatever you need to in here, and it'll be saved in any ender chest you use, which is amazing. Alternatively, you could craft it using an eye of ender in 8 obsidian, but if you can loot them, it saves you that. And of course, if you need to empty your inventory, you can go ahead and put stuff inside the shulker box as well. And if you have an end city with a ship, once you're done exploring, keep in mind that the small towers here don't have any loot. You can go to the ship, aim your crosshairs on the mast, and then jump and throw an ender pearl, and you'll land somewhat on the center of the ship, where, be careful, you will find more of the shulkers, and you don't want to get hit and get sent into space. But on the ship, quickly go down. You'll find potions of instant healing. You don't need those in all reality. Go down here, kill the shulker that's here, and then grab the elytra, grab whatever loot you want. And if you make your way to the front of the boat here, you can go ahead and grab the dragon head. And while it has no practical use, it does look really cool. And the elytra with the eye blossom cape looks amazing. I do want to get 3 or 4 more of them though, so let's keep looking around this end. And as long as you have the elytra on, you will be fine to float down, as long as you make sure to fly or glide, whatever you call this process. Okay, so if I play my cards right, I can definitely make it a decent distance with the elytra. I just need to look for an end city. And since I'm going a little bit lower than I would like, let's go up this way and throw an ender pearl. Oh, that missed. That missed so bad. Okay, let's keep throwing ender pearls so I make it up. Oh gosh. Man, that could have been really bad. I will also mention that pumpkins can be used as a way for endermen not to get mad at you. And certain text packs can get rid of the overlay, but I prefer not to do that. I'll just keep looking at the ground. And once you have 3 or more elytra, you're good to go back to the overworld. It's also a good idea. Make sure you have as many shulker boxes as you want. But then you can go back through the end gateway, which it's easy to use ender pearls on this one, which will take you back to the main end island, which lets you go back home. And there you have it. Everything to know about the end, which the end really needs an update to make it more interesting, but that's how you can go ahead and conquer the end very quickly, and it doesn't take all that long either. One of the things I highly recommend is unenchanting all the armor and tools that you got that have enchantments on them, but then also enchant all your elytra with unbreaking and mending. But that's going to do it for today's video. If you did enjoy it, leave a like, comment, subscribe. Check out the video on the screen. It's the last episode if you haven't seen that. Other than that, I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a nice day.